insist it isn't me. Well, then who is it? Judy says it's Emmeline, one of her two other personalities. Judy's husband of 33 years, Brian, supports his wife's belief, but their daughters, Laura and Heather, say they're not so sure, and they suspect their mother is faking a multiple personality diagnosis to escape responsibility for a lifetime of outrageous behaviors that includes living on the streets for 6 months, flying across the country without telling anyone in the family. Take a look.
Having multiple personality disorder is a constant chatter in my head. Sometimes it gets so loud, it's a roar in my head. I have two dominant personalities. Carrie, she's a quiet one that just doesn't want any yelling, doesn't want screaming, just wants the chaos to stop.
Carrie's just kind of a wild teenage personality. She's fun-loving.
Emmeline is another part of my mind that does not like my husband. She doesn't like the way my children treat me, and she lashes out at that.
You never knew what was going to happen next.
It goes from nice and sweet to anger.
Emmeline's behavior is such that I just want to get away from it. I feel like I'm throwing Emmeline under the bus. Okay, I got a relationship with her too. She's part of my wife, Judy.
Emmeline's always around, always lurking. She's closer than you think. I can hear her in my head saying, he's setting you up. Emmeline has done some horrible things.
One time, when Judy spiraled out of control, she left me for another man. She was smoking crack. Her alters were in control. Judy was gone for probably about 3 or 4 months.
Sometimes I have no hope that it will ever go away. And it's just so frustrating. It's just so hard.
There have been times where I just felt like throwing my hands up in the air and saying, I'm done.
Well, Judy says that Emmeline and Carrie are real, and she's not making them up. But Laura and Heather feel their mother is using these alters, as they're called, to cover up the real issue, which is a major drinking problem.
I feel like my mom fakes multiple personality disorder. It's her scapegoat.
My disorder is real. It happens to me. I can't stop it.
If it's legitimately true and she has multiple personality disorder, she needs to be locked up somewhere because she's a danger to society.
I don't think my mom struggles with multiple personality disorder. I do believe she struggles with alcohol abuse.
I drink to self-medicate because I have my mental health issues. I have a lot of chatter in my head, and one of the reasons I drink is to tone that down. When I drink, things get out of control, way out of control.
What my mom does is buy a big, huge gallon of wine, and she will drink all of it in under 30 minutes. My mom drinks to the point where she just passes out.
When Judy drinks, Emmeline takes over, and Emmeline will drink and drink and drink.
There are days where I remember what happened, and then there are days that I don't remember.
I head for the hills when my mom's drinking because I don't want to deal with it. I've cut all contact with my mom.
I stopped talking to my mom 4 months ago, and I was afraid of what she was going to do next.
They had enough of the drama and the chaos. This is all just so upsetting.
I just want to be able to have my daughters back in my life. I feel like somebody's taken my heart, just ripped it out.
Okay, I just want to jump right into this because I have so much that I want to cover today. You believe that you suffer from a mental illness, multiple personality disorder, which is currently referred to as dissociative identity disorder, and you feel like you have that.
Yes, sir. I do.
So on the one hand, you feel like it's not you, Judy, that necessarily is offensive to their sensibilities, but instead an alter you have, Emmeline. Is that accurate, what I just said?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. And I'm not trying to be smart aleck about this at all, But you need to tell me who I'm talking to right now.
Judy.
Okay, and how will I know that? How will I know if Emmeline decides to take over this conversation?
I hope that she won't, but if she does, she's aggressive. She's more demonstrative than I am.
How did she feel about you coming here?
She's in agreement with me coming here.
She is?
Yes.
Because I thought she had said that this was not good, that this wasn't going to be a good experience for you.
That was because Laura had a conversation with me on the phone and had told me that you guys were setting me up and that it was going to be a humiliating experience for us.
You told her that this was a setup and she was going to be humiliated.
I did say that.
What did you think about her coming here, about your mother coming here?
I was excited, and I don't know, I guess I kind of just felt that the opportunity was here and that we needed to take it.
You actually wrote the letter, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your goal?
My goal is to bring unity to my family.
And it's fallen apart at this point. You two question whether she's being genuine or just using this as a dodge,
Very much so.
Correct.
right? Why do you think she's using it as a dodge?
It's just really when she does something that has just gone completely overboard, all of a sudden she has multiple personality disorder again. So I don't buy it.
It's just handy.
It's handy. It's a convenient
The devil
way
made
to,
me do it.
Exactly.
But in this case, the devil is Emmeline.
Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing of it, by the way.
What?
Emmeline. I have no idea who that is.
You have no idea who that is?
Never heard that. Or Carrie, was that what I saw on the TV? Never heard of
Right.
that person either.
Okay.
Till right now, today.
So she doesn't tell you a whole lot about it.
No, because it only exists when she wants it to.
I can't trust my mom around my kids. It scares me to think of what could happen.
I know my mom has the potential to be dangerous.
Laura says I'm dangerous? How am I dangerous?
And later, can I talk to Emmeline?
What do you want to know, Dr. Phill?
I do not want my mom around my daughter.
I can't trust my mom around my kids. It scares me to think of what could happen if I were to leave my kids with my mother. I mean, I can't put them in what I would consider potentially be harm's way.
The reason Heather won't let me see my grandchildren, to quote her, is because she's seen too many Dr. Phils to trust me with my grandchildren.
The story captivated the nation and broke hearts. Deborah Dennison suffered from severe mental illness. Her behavior was so erratic, she was forbidden to be alone with her own grandchildren.
I mean, if Heather wants to go there with me, I'll go there with her and Dr. Phill in a room off camera.
I know my mom has the potential to be dangerous.
Laura says I'm dangerous? How am I dangerous?
Once I drove right over to get my daughter, whom she was watching. She was drunk, passed out, laying in the floor, and my little daughter's just, year-old teeter-tottering around the apartment. I couldn't believe it.
Since my wife is not allowed to see my grandchildren, out of respect for her, I have chosen not to see my grandchildren as well. I have the most beautiful grandchildren in the world. They mean everything to me.
I'd rather be dead than go the rest of my life without seeing my grandkids. It's just not fair. It's not right. I'm not dangerous.
You feel like she should not have access to the grandchildren because...
You guys want me to believe something as crazy as multiple personality disorder, but then you just want me to feel comfortable with letting you stay with my kids. How do I know that you're not going to jump on an airplane with my kids or say I'd say something that, triggered and you're going to do something with my kids? If you don't have... I understand, Dad, you say Judy would never do that, but how am I guaranteed that I always have Judy when she's alone with my kids?
How do you answer that?
I raised them and I had multiple personality disorder.
That was real normal. I don't want my kids to know what it's like to go in and out of a hospital, like, to visit your mother behind a locked ward. I don't want them to have to go see Mama.
Do you know why I did that? I put myself in a hospital because I did not know whether I had the potential to hurt you or not. And I needed to find out if I did. To find out what was wrong with me.
Exactly. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want them to have that experience at all.
Okay, well, they said they had not heard details about these altars that you have.
Right.
And if you want them to understand this,
Right.
I want to educate them some.
And I did not purposely tell them about this when they were younger, because I didn't want them to go out into a neighborhood and say, my mom has multiple personality disorder, so then that they would get teased about it.
Okay, well, we're all adults now, and this is a really big neighborhood. So it's time to just get it out there, right?
Yes.
You agree with that?
I do.
Okay, so Emmeline, and I think this is what you've told us, is in her 40s, is a smoker, is physically violent, is threatening, uses profanity, left-handed,
Yes.
street smart, amoral, manipulative, aggressive, and protective.
Yes.
And then there's another altar, Carrie, that you say is a teenager and is an integration of all of the past teen personalities, because there have been, I think, at one point, 20 identified personalities.
At one point there was, yes.
Okay. But with progress, a lot of this has been kind of reintegrated back into just yourself, Judy, then Emmeline and Carrie. And then Carrie is very childlike, cries easily, seeks adult attention, avoids conflict, can assume a fetal position when stressed, and sucks her thumb.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, now as I was going through that, you became agitated and a bit emotional. Tell me what's going on.
I just feel very vulnerable right now.
You feel at risk? In what way?
Putting a lot on the line here.
Do you believe that I'm taking this seriously?
Yes, sir. I do.
Do you think I know what I'm doing?
Yes, sir. I do.
You know she's an alcoholic. Do you buy her alcohol?
I have, yes.
What the hell are you thinking? And later, I assume I'm talking to Emmeline.
What do you want to know?
Why do you need to exist?
To keep Judy from killing herself.
I know that one of my wife's altar, Carrie, has made the decision to drink. I have partied with Carrie. She's fun. We'd go to the bar, we'd do karaoke, I'd sing to her, we'd dance. In the back of my mind, I knew I was having fun with one of my wife's altars. It wasn't Judy. I consciously knew that, but I took advantage of it. It was great for the moment, but that always has repercussions.
Well, Judy claims that she was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, more commonly known as multiple personality disorder or split personality. But she said she burned her diagnostic papers in her stove because she was just sick of looking at them. Now, while Judy's husband, Brian, says he supports his wife, his daughters, Heather and Laura, say they don't believe their mom and will not let her anywhere near their children until they know what is really wrong with her. Do you believe that you're not dangerous?
I'm not dangerous.
But
Laura, how many times since,
I'd like to hear what Dr. Phill has to say.
how many times since how many times since Georgia was a year old have you left Georgia with me? How many times since?
Dr. Phill,
How many times since?
what?
do you want me to answer a question?
Yeah, I know how to do an interview, and
Okay,
if I get out of control, I'll come right to you.
Okay.
But I think she's asked you a legitimate question. I'd like to hear the
How
answer.
many times since?
Several.
I'm going to ask that you two have an open mind to some of the things I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because I hear you making your sarcastic marks.
I'll stop.
And you could fill this room with what you don't know about what's wrong with your mother. And until you do, I think I would kind of do a lot of listening. They feel like you're not stable. I feel like the best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. I know that to be true. In psychology, we can give you every test in the world, or we can take a really good history, and if somebody's got a pattern in the past, it predicts a pattern in the future. And so I've done a lot of looking at your patterns, and you've had multiple suicide attempts, right?
Correct.
7 that I count. I mean, that's the ones we know about.
Correct.
There are probably more. You've been to rehab 3 times, but yet you're still drinking.
Yes.
You've had 10 psychiatric placements, and you've had 15 traffic violations. And traffic violations are not like felonies, I understand, but several of these were for reckless driving. And so, to me, if I was like interviewing a nanny to take care of my now grandchildren, and this was on your resume, you would not be on the top of the list. So I understand why you would be concerned about that. And you know that she has mental health problems, right?
Yes, sir.
Forget the labels for a minute. You know she has problems.
Yes, sir.
You know she has a drinking problem.
Yes, sir.
You know she self-medicates
Yes, sir.
with alcohol, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you buy her alcohol?
I have, yes.
What the hell are you thinking?
That's part of my
what do you-
problem. That's part of my problem, Dr. Phill.
Well, no.
That's part of what I need to own.
You know she's an alcoholic. You know she has blackout drunk periods, and you buy her alcohol. Do you do it to avoid conflict?
Yes, sir.
I
have
mean,
done
just
it.
be honest. We gotta put it all out on the
I'm being
table
honest
here.
with you. I have done it to avoid conflict, to shut her down for the night, to not deal with things. Yes, sir. I have done that.
Do you bully him at times?
Yes, sir.
Do you bully him as Judy, or do you bully him as Emmeline?
As Emmeline.
Can I talk to Emmeline?
Yes, sir. What the do you want to know, Dr. Phill?
I assume I'm talking to Emmeline. Can I talk to Emmeline?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk to Emmeline. I want to know what her thinking is about this.
She doesn't like him.
Well, you're describing her. I want to talk to her. She doesn't want to.
That's not gonna happen.
I'm sorry?
It's not gonna happen.
That's okay. I mean, if somebody's involved, I want to talk to them. And if she doesn't have the willingness or the guts to step up and talk about it, okay. I get it. But she bullies him, right?
She's mean to Dad all the time.
Speak up if you want.
You just need to shut the okay, and leave me alone.
Oh, God, here we go.
All right? You just need to shut the up, leave me alone.
I'll let you deal with it.
Okay,
I told you when we came here, I was not a dog and pony show. And it wasn't going to be a dog and pony show. I told you that.
okay, now talk to me.
What do you want to know, Dr. Phill?
I assume I'm talking to Emmeline.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
I want to know why you bully him into doing things that are not in the best interest of your health, mentally, physically, familially, socially, functionally, why you bully this man into doing what you want him to do.
Because he doesn't listen to Judy. He doesn't take care of her. He doesn't respect her.
Do you?
Probably not.
Probably not. Judy says she'll take one drink and you finish the bottle. True or false?
True.
She's telling the truth. So you're criticizing him for not taking care of Judy and you don't either. True? So maybe you need to clean your act up. Possible?
Possible.
I mean, I'm just asking.
Possible. Possible, yes.
I'm not saying it's true, I'm just saying it's possible.
Possible. Anything's possible. Everything's possible.
Do you want to get better?
We all want to get better.
Do you want to be happy?
We all want to be happy.
Define happy for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Happy for me would be that I didn't have to exist anymore.
What is your necessity? Why do you need to exist?
To keep Judy from killing herself.
Why do you think she would do that?
Because she's angry.
How about you? You angry?
Angry all the time.
Well, you have that in common.
Addict.
You an alcoholic?
Yes.
We're going to take a break. I'm going to talk about what I think's going on here, what I think just happened. We're going to find out why Laura says she was forced to take her own mother to court when we come back.
I had to terminate my mother. She left me many threatening voicemails.
I'm not telling to stop supporting you.
Judy would never make threats like that. Emmeline was the one that was making the threats.
The doctor that diagnosed my mom was probably a quack doctor. She will do everything there is to convince everyone around her, family members, friends. She had some sort of illness. My mom will go from doctor to doctor to doctor until somebody agrees with her.
Well, Judy has been living with multiple personalities for most of her life, according to her. This is how she experiences her existence. Her two daughters, Laura and Heather, say they wonder if their mom is faking this diagnosis to escape responsibility for her unpredictable behavior, such as leaving their father for 6 months to live on the streets as another personality named Emmeline. Now, this past May, Laura says she was forced to take her mom to court after Judy contacted Laura's clients to try to destroy her business. Now, Judy says, okay, the calls took place, but she says it was not her. It was her alter, Emmeline. Take a look.
I own my own business. My mom worked for me as an administrative assistant.
In the evening, if I wanted to have a drink, that was my choice.
She would come into work and I would sense she was hungover.
My occasional glass of wine escalated to 2 bottles of wine a night. Clients complained to Laura that I sounded intoxicated on the phone. Laura got fed up with not being able to control me.
I had to terminate my mother.
I feel betrayed by her. I feel like she slapped me in my face.
She left me many threatening voicemails.
People on your reference list aren't going to be on your reference list for very long. You little.
I had to take my mom to court, and a judge did grant an injunction in my favor to prohibit her from continuing to attempt to destroy my business.
I don't know about the messages because I think Emmeline left the messages.
Judy would never make threats like that. Emmeline was the one that was making the threats.
I think it's absurd.
Okay. You agree that what happened was like really bad, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me who I'm talking to right now?
Judy.
Okay. Let me tell you guys what I think is going on here. First off, let's get one thing very clear. This woman is not faking. 100% guarantee this woman is not faking. She is not a malingerer. She's not someone that mimics a disorder, mimics a behavior, mimics something in order to escape accountability, get attention, escape culpability, or whatever. She's not someone that makes this up for sympathy or attention. She's not a faker. Now, also, I have to say in the same breath, I don't think she has multiple personalities. I think that's really good news.
Yeah, no, it's great news.
It's really good news. But I think we all have a range of conduct and behavior, and we have. You ever had like a really bad day?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Where you just wake up and get your bitch on before. I mean. You know,
yes, we do.
You know, we all have that to some degree, and mental health and mental illness often lives on a continuum. You know, you're kind of moody, or like really moody, or like just really out of control. We move up and down in terms of our identities, and at times things become so painful that we do what's called dissociate. We like clip off. I mean, oftentimes, for example, when I've talked to rape victims and say, what was your experience during the attack? They say, and I was gone. I dissociated. It was like an out-of-body experience. It was like I wasn't even there. Mm-hmm. And you often have people detach in that way and get away from what's going on. So, number one, I do not believe that this lady is faking, or that she is malingering, or she is doing this just as a way of being interesting at all. So your judgment of her, in my opinion, is so misguided, I can't even begin to tell you. But then at the same time, I said, I don't think she has multiple personality disorder. I've never, ever seen what I could verify to be a case of genuine split or multiple personalities. There are many therapists who see dozens of them. And there's a real controversy about whether it exists or whether it doesn't. My position is it just doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't really matter because it's all about labels, and labels are all about insurance reimbursement, frankly. So they force us to assign something to somebody so we can submit it for payment. And I truly believe that in the 80s, Judy went to see a therapist who believed in multiple personality disorder.
I believe that.
In such a way that this became what is called, in my opinion, iatrogenic. And iatrogenic is an illness or disorder that is caused or suggested by a physician, medical examination, or treatment. Like, for example, if I operate on your knee and there's a scar there, that scar is iatrogenic to the surgery. It is caused by the treatment. It's there because of the treatment. Okay? And so if you go see somebody and the way they organize their life, their world, their professional view is to believe in multiple personality, and they see someone that seems to be kind of all over the chart, they go, whoa, You have multiple personalities. And based on that, you went through a whole process of events.
Yes.
And you organized your reality based on that symbol system that was given to you.
I just feel really nuts, like a million people screaming in my head right now.
Do you ever feel like you have thoughts being taken out of your mind?
I just can't stop it.
I asked you to spend a few hours yesterday with Dr. Charles Sophie's preeminent psychiatrist. He's known the world over. I asked you to go see him and spend a few hours with him. Take a look at this and then we'll talk.
I'm here. I'm about ready to go in and be interviewed by Dr. Sophie. A little nervous about it. I'm hoping that they get whatever information they need to help me.
Dr. Sophie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for coming. Do you ever hear voices in your head that are not outside voices?
Yes.
Do you ever feel like you have thoughts being taken out of your mind?
I just can't stop it.
What can't you stop?
I just can't stop the thoughts. I don't even know how to describe it to people. And I just feel really nuts even saying, like a million people screaming in my head right now. I got really irritated the other day. I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I don't even know who that is.
Do you know who it is and don't like who it is?
No, I didn't know who it was.
Why didn't you like looking at it then?
Because I was trying to figure out who it was.
Besides irritated that you may not have known who it is, how did it make you feel?
It made me feel sad that I'm at this age in my life and I don't know who I am.
Do you ever say to yourself, I don't want to know who I am?
Yeah, I do.
You gotta be honest. You know who you are a lot of the time, but you don't want to know. Because it's easier to hold on to that stuff.
Yeah. I just finished the interview with Dr. Sophie. It was emotional for me, and I went to places that I still haven't shared with people, and I don't know that I ever will. I'm reflective about a couple of things that he said to me that, I need to go and meditate on.
Okay, I've added Dr. Sophie to our conversation here and jump in any time. You say, well, now wait a minute. Come on, you say she's not faking, she's not malingering. She just switched personalities right in front of you, Dr. Phill. Isn't that a little melodramatic here? Not really, because you're going to see a professional that's a legitimate licensed professional that has this view. Mm-hmm. And that's the way he structures it. Now, here's what we do know. We do know you had a lot of trauma in your life early on.
Yes, sir.
You had trauma when you were 7.
Yes, sir.
Because you were terribly and brutally molested.
Yes, sir.
We know from age 8 to 13 that you were victimized in that way. And let me tell you, this changes who you are. Changes who you are.
Yes, sir.
It changes how you interact and adapt to the world. I think that as a result, you've experienced a tremendous amount of fear in your life. I think you've experienced a tremendous amount of anxiety in your life. And anxiety can get to the point that you dissociate. You check out. And if you've ever driven up on a big wreck on the highway and there are survivors out there in the rain with burning cars around, you see them kind of walking around in shock, kind of zombie-like. They're dissociated. They're in shock. They have a completely different way of going through it. We accommodate to that in different ways. You were told to accommodate that by giving those states a name. And so you did, because you were told by trusted professionals to do that. And you've actually made some progress.
Yes, sir.
Using that symbol system. But I think it's important to understand that there's a lot of fear going on here. There's a lot of anxiety going on. There's depression going on. There's alcohol abuse going on. A lot of things that explain a lot of erratic behavior other than it's a completely different personality. And does that mean she's safe to take care of the kids today? Probably not, because of the lack of stability. But I think if you start putting those things on a to-do list and we get her the right kind of help focused on the right kind of underlying problems, then you do begin to see her get a good deal better in a very short period of time. Yep. So I'm actually very optimistic about all of this. And listen, I have to tell you, I've not evaluated you. Dr. Sophie has. I arranged for that to happen. I've studied your case. I've got a lot of experience in these things, and I'm just offering you an alternative explanation, an alternative theory of what's going on, and therefore an alternative way to try to get this under control. I think you do suffer from severe and debilitating mental illness, but it's treatable. Now, what does this mean for the family, and what do they need to do? I'm going to talk about that and what's really going on here right after the break. These are things that if you break them down to the individual elements instead of the umbrella diagnosis, to the anxiety, to the depression, to the alcohol abuse, to the borderline personality attributes and aspects, these are all things that can get a good deal better, correct?
A whole lot better, almost totally better. They're well controlled once they're treated. You just have to get treatment and stick to the treatment. Yeah. And let your family believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. You will not own yourself. You're terrified.
We're going to help you do that, but what do you guys think about what we're talking about here, what I'm saying?
I think you're hitting the nail right on the head, just to be honest.
What do you think?
I agree.
If your mother was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and as a result began to behave erratically, would you judge her the way you're judging her now?
No.
And what you two need to do is close ranks around this woman, support her in her treatment, and understand she's not doing this on purpose. This is not her way of entertaining herself. She is not a psychopath. She's not a sociopath. She's not a manipulator. She is not someone that is doing this on purpose.
Okay.
And as a result, you guys need to understand the mental illness processes that are ongoing here and love, support, and nurture her through that. That doesn't mean that she gets away with anything. Let's be in this together.
Yeah.
Let's close ranks. And you need to stop enabling this woman. You need to man up and give her what she needs, okay? How has this gone for you today?
Good. Good.
Do you have some hope?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to. Because I believe this can get better, and I believe you want to get better. I do believe that. Okay? All right, take a look at this innocent little girl. This was a time in her life when she shouldn't have had a care or a worry in the world. But this little girl says that she lived in a house of horrors, filled with unbelievable acts of abuse, from being kicked and spit on, to being so deprived of water she claims she was left with no choice but to drink out of the toilet. So who would do this to a young girl? Who does she say is responsible for this childhood torture? Well, you might guess it was her mother. Beth says the abuse was so bad that even as early as 5 years old, she prayed every night that God would take her away from her own mommy dearest.
My childhood was like living in a house of horrors. When my mom would get angry, she had a killer face. When I saw her killer face come out, then we knew code red. It was over. My mom would take a belt and soak it in hot water, and then she would have us take our clothes off, and then she would start whipping us with the belt. She would make us say, "Thank you, Mother, may I have another." She would put socks in our mouth when we would start screaming and crying, so it would muffle the sound of our cries. One time, I couldn't get a math problem right, and so she got really mad. She slapped me out of the chair. I fell to the floor. She grabbed me by the hair and started slamming my face into the ground. She grabbed me by the neck and started lifting me up like that and was just choking me. She would spit on me, and till this day, I still feel the heat of her spit. There was another time when my brother got in trouble. I told Ricky, "Get up, get in the room and lock the door." She saw that his door was shut, and she went downstairs and she grabbed an axe and started chopping the door down. And he tried to jump out the second-story window of his bedroom. There was a scene in the movie The Shining, and just totally flashed through my mind when I saw her doing that. Living through the abuse from my mother was living hell.
Bad as that sounds, Beth says the physical torture she endured was nothing compared to the constant verbal abuse and psychological mind games she says her mother used on her and her siblings.
My mother's abuse was never ending because when she wasn't being physical, then she was being mentally, verbally abusive with me. When I was 5 years old, she called me stupid bitch, piece of things a mother should not be telling a 5-year-old. When my brother and I were younger, she would lock us in the room without any food or water, and she wouldn't let us out. We would be starving by the time we got out. We'd have to soil ourselves. My bed would be soaked with pee. If I ever talked back to my mom, she would give us spoonfuls of hot sauce and not allow us to have any water. I would literally sneak to the bathroom and I would drink water from the toilet like a dog. She would make me do sit-ups and push-ups as punishment. There were many times when I called CPS on my mom, nothing would happen because she's very manipulative. She would play a really good, loving, motherly role, like she never did a thing. And you know what? She's very believable. After CPS would leave and they didn't find any evidence of what I said was going on, it was hell for me. Till this day, it affects me.
Okay, Beth, with all of this that's going on, why do you want to be here today?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Just to get some closure, and because it's been going on for so long that I do want to confront her. I'm tired of going through this.
Is this woman seriously deranged?
I believe so.
But you said she choked you. She kicked you in the head.
Yeah, everything.
You said she soaked a belt in hot water and beat you with it. So I'm asking you, how deranged would you have to be from where you are now to imagine doing that to your child?
I would never. No normal parent would do that to their kid.
Now, you can imagine she tells a very different story.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Beth's mother, Cecilia, is here and admits she was rough with Beth, but says she needed to be disciplined. Take a look.
My daughter, Elizabeth, is a master manipulator. She can cry at the drop of a hat. I call her the queen of crocodile tears. My daughter's a rageaholic. When she gets that angry, she would fly at her, just swinging and punching and biting. I see hate in her eyes. She just becomes a monster. It's scary. I used to lock my door at night because I think, is she going to come in here and stab me? I keep holy water in my purse. I went to go see a psychologist, and he was like, well, it sounds to me like your daughter's a sociopath. She can be very vicious. Elizabeth would get my cat's ears and twist them. I really think that my daughter has psychological issues. Elizabeth took feces and finger painted. Not finger paint, you're gonna make flowers. I mean, she took it and just smeared it all over the walls. I had my issues, but I didn't know how to be any other way. As far as I knew, as long as I didn't burn my kids with cigarettes, put them in the closet, I thought that was being a good parent. I didn't beat my kids into bloody pulps. I did spank them. Usually it was my hand, or I had like a flat sandal that was kind of like this, and it would be like bap, bap, bap. But if I brought out the belt, you know that you messed up. I would make them bend over like this on the bed, and we would count. And as they would count, I would make them say, 1, thank you, mother, may I have another? I was twisted. And quite honestly, I was a sick psycho.
Well, Beth has not spoken to her mother in 2 years. So, Cecilia, come on out and join us.
Wow. Wonderful to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you. Have a seat. I'm glad you're here. Tell me why you wanted to be here today.
Well, first of all, I love you, Mija.
No, you don't.
But I made you drink out of a toilet?
No. You
Oh
did
my
not
God,
let me.
no. Dr. Phill?
She didn't say you made her drink out of a
Oh,
toilet.
okay.
She had to
Maybe
do
if
it
you wouldn't have
because-
turned the doorknob inside out and locked me and Ricky in there, I wouldn't be thirsty and do that when we got out.
That happened, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Dr. Phill, a lot of what she's saying, and I'm not going to lie to you, I did whip my kids. And I believe that kids should get spanked. To a degree. Now, I grew up in a very, very violent home. In my opinion, do you see the scar right here? Do you see it?
I do.
When I got in trouble, see here? That was because my mom missed my eye. She would smoke her cigarette so hard that the cherry would get so hot. She grabbed me by the back of my head and she stuck it in my face. I mean, I wasn't the best mom, Beth. But
So
you know
you're
what?
telling me that you never called Ricky a freaking retard? You never sat there and punched me in the face?
No, I did not.
You beat us. You beat all of us.
You are a lying sack of
No,
That's what
I'm
you
not.
are. I am disgusted with your
Be
behavior.
disgusted with me because you're the one who's bad, not me.
Oh, really, Elizabeth? You are a liar.
Okay.
You are so full of it.
I am
oh,
so
my
full of
God,
it.
Dr.
You
Phil.
are a
Now,
manipulator.
You've been out here for 5 minutes. You said, I was a sick psycho and I did beat my children with a belt at times. And on national television, you've called your daughter a lying sack of
Yeah.
Now, you
She
talked about
brings
you
it
had
out
your
of me.
issues then, but what kind of parenting is that? Why would you call your daughter that name?
Okay, Dr. Phil, this little girl has put my family, my entire family, through hell.
No.
Did you ever choke your daughter?
No.
You never choked. Did you
Never
ever slap
choked
her?
her. Yes.
You slapped her in the face?
Yes, I did.
Did
Open
you ever
hand.
kick her?
No.
Yes, you have. You've choked me. You've done everything in the book. You've done the same thing to Ricky and to Tiffany.
Did you ever kick her in the head?
No.
Did you ever spit on her?
No.
Yes, you have.
Did you ever soak a belt and hit her with it?
No.
Yes, you have. Because
That I had to, I'm sorry, that was just creative. Look
Did
at child,
you-
call it, stop.
Did
no,
you
shut up.
did you stick a sock in her mouth?
Yes.
Why?
I stuck a sock in her mouth for cussing me out.
No, you didn't. You put a sock in my mouth to shut me up from when you were hitting me with the belt.
That's a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
All right, well, let's take a break. Next, from allegedly hiring someone to beat up Beth while she was pregnant in an attempt to kill her unborn child, to spreading horrific rumors that Beth is a prostitute. Beth says her mother is still trying to hurt her. We'll talk about that after the break and let Cecilia say what she wanted to say.
When I was pregnant, she tried to hire somebody to come and jump me so I would miscarry. She has told people that I was prostituting myself. I'm a no good mother.
Elizabeth threw something and it hit the baby. One of these days, these idiots are gonna kill my grandchild.
I'm not even living with my mom anymore and I can't escape her. My boyfriend and I both had to change our numbers because she was texting us, harassing us. My mom would make fake Facebook and fake Instagram profiles, and she would spy on me.
I even got into it with her on Facebook. We sent each other some really nasty texts. How she wants me to die and how she wants to on my grave.
When I was pregnant, she tried to hire somebody to come and jump me so I would miscarry. She has told people that I was prostituting myself, that I abused my child, that I'm a drug addict. There's many times when she's texted me saying that she's gonna beat my ass and that I'm worthless, I'm no good mother.
Elizabeth threw something and it hit the baby. One of these days, these idiots are gonna kill my grandchild.
My mom and a family member did call CPS. They said that we were beating our child and that we were starving him. It was a complete joke.
Child Protective Services are morons. If anything happens to my grandchildren, I'm gonna sue the out of that county.
It really hurts me because I can't escape no matter what I do.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's why you beat us, because you didn't even want us.
I know, Beth. I'm sorry that you were so abused.
Why is this funny to you? Because I don't see anything funny here at all, and you're laughing and saying "wow."
Because a lot of things that she's saying,
what is
it's
funny
not
here?
true.
I am worked up and I'm pissed because my son is my pride and joy, and she knows that. And you called CPS because you wanted him to be taken away. I will never be like you.
Dr. Phill, first of all, I swear to God, I never called
You
CPS.
swear to God that you never beat us, but you did. I remember being locked into the room. I remember drinking from the toilet. I remember you hitting me with the wet belt. You used to laugh at it.
You two get fired up and start talking, but you also write to each other. There are texts between the two. Cecilia, you have written to her, I loved you so much, and all you ever do is blank on me and my family. You are garbage like your dad and that pathetic whore you call a grandmother. You're writing to your daughter. What are you?
Oh, I'm not proud of it.
You then write back, laugh out loud, you are crazy. Then you write back,
no.
And you are trash and everyone knows it. I am telling the truth. You are worthless as a daughter, as a mother, as a wife. Laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
Now, come on. Seriously, that's your idea of parenting. You're telling your daughter, you are worthless as a daughter. You are worthless as a wife. What is your goal there? What is your goal?
See, the funny thing is...
There's nothing funny.
No. Okay. Not funny, haha. But the thing is, she kept what she wanted to keep. She didn't keep the whole conversation.
Doesn't matter. There is no context in which you can write that and justify it. What is your objective here?
I was just giving her back the medicine that she's been giving me for a long time. And it may sound ugly, but it's the truth.
Because you're not around.
No.
You treated me like crap.
I want nothing to do with you, Beth.
Okay, so you're...
The only reason that I'm here, Dr. Phill, is because I want closure. That's it. After this, I'm walking away, and I don't ever want to have to deal with this again.
Well, you said context. Elizabeth responds, you're just mad because I'm a better mother than you'll ever be. I don't beat my son like you beat us. I will never treat my son the way you did me. I will love my son forever, and that is something you will hate because I got my blank together unlike you, who's crazy. Keep hating, Mom. I love you. Then, Cecilia, you write back, Elizabeth, people tell the truth and you don't. God has been punishing you and you don't even know it. Mark will find a younger, smarter female once you look like blank. Your son will learn to hate you and he will see through all of your blank. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Elizabeth says, I'm a great mother, something that you can't stand because you beat us as babies until now, and you starved us. You tried killing your own children. Laugh out loud, you're the one thing I will never be like, so keep talking blank, your day will come. You write back, you sad, sorry, and pathetic excuse for a human. Truth is still fact. I'm better than you and you know it, so goodbye for good and don't text back. It won't get read, loser.
Yeah. And I don't regret writing that. I really don't.
In all of that, I hear her saying, you beat us, you tried to kill us, you did all these horrible things. And I heard you say a lot of things, but I never heard you deny it.
Because it's not true.
Beth's older sister is here. She admits her mother was at times terrifying, but she says her baby sister had it much easier than her, and that her baby sister is not telling the truth about most things. We'll meet the sister after the break.
Beth has played the victim her entire life. She seems to forget all the horrible things that she did. She was a hardcore troubled child.
After 17 years of sobriety, I got up one morning and I thought, why am I still sober? And I walked down to the mini mart and bought 3 little shots of bourbon. Elizabeth broke me. She drove me to drink.
Well, from accusations of severe physical abuse, starvation, and to claims of being forced to drink out of a toilet and using her bed as a bathroom, Beth points the finger at her mother for turning their home into what she says was a house of horrors. But Beth's older sister, Tiffany, says Beth is greatly exaggerating the truth.
My sister Beth is manipulative and destructive. She used to hit herself and tell my mom it was me. Beth was like, if no one's giving me attention, then I'm gonna find a way to get it. She seems to forget where all the horrible things that she did. She was a hardcore troubled child. My sister's relationship with my mom is explosive. As a child, I was terrified of my mom. My mom was scary. We had this rule when I was growing up, which was I was allowed to take punishment for my sister. My mom was colorful and creative when it came to my punishments. One time my mom did shave my head. My sister's hair was never shaved, it was cut short, like Demi Moore in Ghost. I was Demi Moore in G.I. Jane. The perfect example for Beth lying. She told me that my mom hit her so hard that it ripped her braces out. Beth has played the victim her entire life and she does need to stop. The only person I know who has failed Beth 100% is Beth herself. Unless my sister changes dramatically, we cannot have a relationship.
Well, Tiffany hasn't spoken to her sister in years, so you two don't have a relationship.
No.
And tell me why not.
Because, look, I'm messed up in my own head. I have PTSD and anxiety, and I have issues myself with our childhood wasn't easy, and what you guys just did, this back and forth thing, I cannot have in my life. I do not want it in my life. Nobody else in our family fights like that. They fight, but they don't fight to where you guys can't even hear each other.
You and her fought like that.
Yes.
How many times?
Yes, we did. I agree.
How many times did you have to protect me from her beating us?
And actually, I agree with you. I did. Many times. Mom, go away.
And
Mom,
then she would turn and start hitting you.
Yes, and I was, you know what? I did that for you. Because I loved you. And Mom was incredibly hard on me. Incredibly
she was
hard
on you, and
but,
I do agree with
I'm
that.
sorry, but I'm sorry. But
Okay.
Mom even gave me the option of taking your punishment, which I did repeatedly.
Okay,
because you couldn't take it.
Let me talk to me for a minute, not her. Why did you take beatings for your sister?
I couldn't really watch her cry. It hurt me.
Or you couldn't watch Mom hit me.
Okay, hold on.
No, you don't understand. When you
Hold on. Let me interrupt both of you for a minute. Let me ask you something. What is funny to you right now? Because let me tell you something.
I didn't hit her. You know what? Most of the time when she says, "Oh, my mama so these,"
Because you know the sad fact here is, what we're talking about here is the fact that she's taking beatings on her behalf. And we're talking about
beatings is a
that.
loose term, maybe whoopings.
No.
Whoopings better? Like
Whatever you call it. But we're talking about that as though that's a normal occurrence in a childhood.
Such a liar.
3 on the butt with that
Tiffany.
Wait, 3 on the butt. Cállate, way. 3 on the butt. If you move, you get another one.
Let's look at the tape here. I queued it back up.
And I did spank them. Usually it was my hand, or I had like a flat sandal that was kind of like this, and it would be like bap, bap, bap. But if I brought out the belt, you know that you messed up. I would make them bend over like this on the bed, and we would count. And as they would count, I would make them say, 1, thank you, mother, may I have another?
I'm sorry, we do laugh about it, and I laugh about it now because it's kind of funny now to me, just a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny at the time, it wasn't, but...
No, it was not funny at the time, I'm
No.
sure. You just think it's hilarious. It just cracks you up. Your knee slapping
She's
over
one
this.
she's one of those people that laughs when
I laugh when I'm
too.
nervous.
Yeah, okay,
It's just
yeah,
one of those.
okay. Well, this will really crack you up then. So,
She laughs in court too.
so there were times when she would force you to drink hot sauce or eat jalapenos.
Okay,
As
the hot
punishment.
sauce is like my mom's version of wash your mouth out with soap. You get a tablespoon of hot sauce if you lie.
Okay.
That,
And
or cuss, yeah.
yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
But Latinos do that. I'm not the only one.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Yes, they do.
Quite a few.
Excuse me. Hello.
No, I'm not saying that don't generalize.
Okay,
I was
while this
here at
continues, we're going to
ROTC.
take a break. Next, it was a night that changed Beth and her family forever, and she believes her mother may well have been behind it all. We'll find out what
You did
happened
not
after the
go
break.
there.
You were sick.
My mom was giving me a bath. We heard bangs from a gun.
Thought they were firecrackers outside.
I remember seeing blood.
And I was yelling at him. Oh my God.
I honestly believe that she had something to do with his murder.
When Beth was just 6 years old, her stepfather was shot and killed in a tragic accident while she was taking a bath in the next room. Now, although the case was closed 17 years ago, Beth believes that her mother may well have been involved, and her stepfather's death may not have been an accident. In fact, it may have been a murder. Take a look.
When I was 6 years old, my mom was giving me a bath. She told me she was going to go check on the laundry, and she was gone for a while. And after she came back, we heard bangs from a gun.
I was shampooing her hair when I heard the shots. And I thought they were firecrackers outside.
And I got out of the bathtub. I see my brother. I see my stepdad. His face was pale. And I remember seeing blood on him.
And I was yelling at him. Oh my God.
When the police came in the ambulance, I was watching as he was being wheeled out. I remember the yellow caution tape. They pronounced him dead at the hospital. That was the most horrific moment of my life. The conclusion of the case was that my 4-year-old autistic brother murdered my stepdad with his handgun. He was special needs. There's no way that he could have grabbed a gun, aimed it perfectly, and shot him and killed him. I honestly believe that she had something to do with his murder.
He left me here. And people thought that I would hurt him. There's nothing worse than knowing that.
After he passed away, she did get a lot of money. Until this day, she gets his money. That's just fishy to me.
Okay, so
Why do you look at me? Stop staring at me.
Don't. Remember, she's very upset right now because you brought up something that
You weren't even there that night.
You're
so
right,
you don't
but
know anything.
I'm the one who you have no idea what they did to me in that orphanage.
You don't know
but
what
we got
they did
stuck
to me
because
either.
of that one night.
And you tried to suffocate me with a pillow.
That's right, because you were beating my little brother,
No,
my
I
baby
was
brother.
not
Yes,
hitting
you were.
him. No,
You were
I was
beating
not
him.
hitting him. You made me
You were
sleep.
blaming him
You
because
made
you
me
actually thought he had done it.
In
Police
that.
come over one
No,
day
I
and
was
just
not
tell
hitting
me.
him.
They come to my friend's house and tell me that all of a sudden the person I
And
thought
what
of as a father is dead. And
what
then
a
they stick me in a room and then they won't even let me speak to my mother. So yes.
And what a
I
coincidence.
was messed up in the head.
What a coincidence that mom drops you off at a place where you don't even like the girl the night he dies.
What? I got invited with many other girls to a friendship club gathering. And mom encouraged me to go, and I actually wanted to go because the thought of being accepted
Well, what
by
a
any
perfect
kid
night
seemed
for
like
something
good.
like a murder to happen.
Beth, You're acting like coincidence
No,
never happened. Like nothing.
You are a
nothing,
liar.
No.
Why are you saying she is evil?
Because of everything she has put us through. You don't understand, Dr.
Everything
Phill.
I've put
No,
you
I
through?
love my daughter, but I'm
No, you
done.
don't.
I am done.
What happened is your 4.5-year-old special needs son picked up a loaded weapon that was
And
laying
fired
out
it,
in the room
Yes.
and fired it and killed your husband.
Yes.
How many times did he fire the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't even.
I'm not sure.
Once,
It's been a
twice,
while.
3
I don't-
times?
I don't know.
It's been like 15 years. I don't know.
What kind of gun?
Doctor, it was an automatic gun. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
The ones Bruce had 2 guns, one under his pillow at all times, and it was never on safety. And another one I think was in the computer desk.
Yeah.
But Bruce was highly paranoid. I loved him. He was a
We had
a
our
wonderful
house broken
father
into
to me.
3
But
times.
he was paranoid a little bit,
Okay,
which he had reason to be.
Why do you
He had
say?
reason to be
Why do you
in-
say she's evil?
She has done so many wicked things to us.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't you?
Okay.
Don't you say that you are a witch?
No, I'm a magi. There's a difference.
Next, Beth claims her mother practices black magic and considers herself to be a powerful witch that not even God's will could stop. She says Cecilia has threatened to cast demons and spells to ruin her life. We'll talk about that after the break.
My mother considers herself a powerful witch. She's into black magic and tarot cards. She threatens to cast demonic entities onto me and my family. She has told me that she's going to send spirits to drag me and my son out of bed. They're going to rip us apart. My mom is crazy. She is straight up crazy.
Is my religious preference
I mean, I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not into witchcraft, so I don't understand.
Okay.
I highly call it. Okay. I've seen my mother work. All right. It's not. It's. If that's truly witchcraft, then most Mexican women in Mexico must be witches, because most of the time she's praying to a candle and she's lighting some incense. And I'm sorry, but all Mexican women do that. To me, that is not a witch.
And just
To
so
me, that's
you
just
know,
someone highly
my
spiritual.
sister also. I'm not the only
Have
one in
you
my family.
sent her writings? Oh, this is funny again?
Oh my God.
No, not like you think, Dr.
You've
Phill.
sent her writings to
ironic.
curse her?
I would like to see those. Post them.
You think you got away with everything you did, but you failed to remember the
La Santísima Muerte.
La Santísima Muerte can be anywhere, anytime, even if you don't believe. I will make sure that she takes what is near and dear to you, because you forget that I can be an evil, vindictive bitch. No one can help you, especially that generic Christian church. The angel of death will be my avenger. Spiders will come on to you in your sleep, and you will not know peace for 7 years. If you seek help from another witch, she will not live past the 3rd year after the attempted cleansing. She will wither and die. If you don't warn her about this curse, then the La Santísima Muerte will take a member of your family every year you live. As I will, it shall be by her dark power. This will pass.
So that's a blessing, right?
You sent that to her. That's
I
your...
didn't send that to her.
But it's directed towards each other, just not. But it's like posting.
Do you see her name up there anywhere?
Oh, come on.
It's a technicality.
No, do you see her name up
Are
there?
you telling me that's
No,
not
I'm
directed
telling you
at her?
that, you know what? It wasn't directed at her. As a matter of fact, at the time, I was dealing with another witch. And that is an honest to God truth. But I'm not a witch. I'm a maga. My mother and my grandmother taught me. This is part of our lineage. You know we are family.
Yeah, putting black magic on your grandson. You're such a great grandmother.
Are you crazy?
Don't even get into this.
She would not do that to an innocent child.
Yes, you
Wait,
are.
Ama. First of all.
They have proof of what you
First
did to
of
his
all.
stuff.
First of all.
What?
Kitty litter. Does that sound familiar?
That wasn't his stuff.
Yes, it was.
No, most of that stuff was mine. His stuff was mixed in there. But my point is, it is
was
incredibly
just fake
selfish.
stuff.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Did I wake up in the Twilight Zone?
It is incredibly selfish. for you to do this to me. Do you understand that? Like, instead of talking like a normal person, you have to bring up things that don't. Whatever this is, I can't deal with it.
You can't handle with what she's doing to me, but you have a perfect
What have I
relationship.
done? I don't
No.
talk to you. We stop talking to you because you're nuts. Because
No,
you
I'm not.
wouldn't
Yes,
stop.
you are.
No.
Okay, stop for a
No.
minute. Stop for a minute. Excuse me. You intended her to read this, correct?
This had nothing to do with her.
You're such a liar.
Oh my God, Elizabeth,
Okay,
everything's
so
about
next,
you, right?
where does Beth go from here? And what I
Away.
think Cecilia needs to do in order to have any chance of health or normalcy going forward after the break. Cecilia, by any standard, not relying on Beth's perceptions, and let's just talk about only the things that the three of you agree on, that would leave us with such things as a childhood that was riddled with beatings or spankings or whoopings or thank you, give me. I'm sorry?
I never beat them. I spanked them, but it wasn't a beating.
No, there were moments where she got excessive once in a while. It wasn't. No, we say beatings, we mean spankings.
Whatever you call it, whatever you confirmed as happening, whatever you confirm as happening, what the three of you agree on is abuse.
Yeah.
When a child is saying, I'm taking beatings for my sister, this is so beyond a sick family dysfunction, I can't even tell you. When I hear you saying, she's lying, she wasn't being fed rotten food because no, listen to me. Y'all talk, now listen. When you say, I know that's a lie because I was the one at 9 years old that was preparing the meals, and sometimes I was feeding them raw vegetables because it's all we had at the time, then I say, okay, we've got a 9-year-old child preparing meals and feeding brother and sister, meeting the bus, taking them to the bus, doing those things. That's neglect. It's my turn. It's my turn. When you agree it was horrible, terrifying, at times harsh and rough. There were belts, slaps, peppers, hot sauce, shaved heads, cut hair, push-ups and sit-ups. Physical fights. That's what you said. You said at times I had them do push-ups and sit-ups as discipline. You said it.
Yes, sir.
That's abuse. Yes, really. Yes, really. Yes, really. Been doing this for 35 years. That's abuse. Then I say, okay, let's look at the adult-adult exchanges. You are a worthless daughter, wife, mother. I hope your husband leaves you. Your son hates you, sees through you. You're horrible. All of this stuff. I'm like, okay, it doesn't get better now. You choose forgiveness.
Yes.
Great. I'm happy for you. You choose bitterness. You choose bitterness. No one chooses healing. You seem to have an absolute unwillingness to take any ownership in any of this.
That's not true.
You think it's funny with an arrogant back of your hand laughter about the whole thing. And I think that is sad for the whole family. You have a lot of healing to do on your own, as do you. You say you have anxiety and PTSD. I would hope that you would deal with that at some point. For you, this is obviously a real challenge for you right now that's very acute. And I want to offer you help with that. There's a program called On-Site, which is a very intensive program. It's located on a beautiful ranch outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and it's just a worldwide leader in therapeutic intensive workshops and treatment, really specializing in emotional trauma and mental health issues. And I've talked to them, and they would like very much for you to come and spend some time with them to just focus on yourself and getting past some of the trauma that is really burdening you right now. And I'm gonna offer that to you, and we'll talk to you some more about that backstage. And I offer help to the two of you as well, if and when you want to do that. You know, I'm all about reunifying family, but I think you've got a lot of issues you need to deal with personally before you want to put your mother hat on. I want to thank all of my guests today. A very special thanks to Miles Adcox and On-Site for offering the help for